So in the last episode, we were able to fetch our data from Contentful, and we were able to log the data at the console right here. Now in this episode, I want us to take this data and be able to map through it and show it on our UI. So I'll just come back to the code editor, and in the last episode, we were able to make use of this function, get static props, to get the data from Contentful and add it to our props. And then we can be able to access it via props and log it to the console or show it on the UI. So with the time, you'll get used to this kind of a function. And there is also this other function, get server-side props. And the main difference is that get static props is used to build the page at build time, and get server-side props is used to build the page at request time. So this is good for a bit dynamic data, and then this one is good for less dynamic data like a blog. So now what I'll do is that I'll just remove this h2, and then we can replace it with a div. And now right here we can map through the data, and I'll say posts dot map, and I'll invoke that. I'll pass an arrow function in here, and right here we'll get a single post at a time, and also we can access the index. And now right here what I will return is a card for each post. So first of all, let's create a card component. So I'll come to components, I'll add a new file, and I'll call it post card.jsx, and I'll use SFC to generate a React component, post card. And all I'll do for now is to return some JSX, and I'll say card. Okay, I keep misspelling, but it doesn't matter. I'll replace that. So I'll save that, and then in index.js, I can say post card, and it will be auto imported from the components, and I can self close it. Now I can pass this post via props to post card. So I'll say post is equals to post, and then I can pass a key, and for the key I'll make use of the index. So I'll save that. Now in post card, we can be able to receive our post via props. So I'll say post, and then I can log that post to the console. So actually I'll do it right here. I'll say console.log of post. So let's save that, and then let me remove this console.log right here, and then let's save, so that we can inspect a single post and actually see if we are loading our component before we proceed. So I'll come to the browser, let me refresh, and now when I refresh, you can see we are having two cards, card and card. And then right here, what we are having is each of the post, and now we have the fields, and at the fields is where we have the data. So we have our content, we have the slug, we have the summary, thumbnail, and title. So the card will only be the summary of the post, and then when we click on the card, we can get to more details about that particular post. So what I will display for now is maybe the title, the thumbnail, and also the summary. And then I'll make use of the slug, so that when you click on the card, it takes you to more details about that post. And the slug right here will be our unique ID. So let's go ahead and create our post card, and also include the data and also add the styles. So first of all, I can destructure the details from the post, like the details for a specific post right here. So I can say ret const title, and then I'll destructure the slug, I'll destructure summary, and also I will destructure thumbnail, and all this will come from post.fields. And now I can be able to make use of all of this inside our card right here. So the first thing that I'll do, I'll make this one to be a div, and I'll give it a class name of post-card. And then now in here, I'll remove this, and our card should be clickable. Okay, so I'll wrap everything with a link. So I'll say link, and this will come from Next, and we should have a href, and this link should take us to more details about our post. So I'll use a backtick, and I'll say post, and then stroke. I will use the money sign, use the curly brackets, and I'll include the slug right here. So this slug, and then we will have a closing one like that. So let me save. So what will happen is that these will link to more details about our post, and we already have this route, post and then the slug. So if you come to pages, you will see that we have the post, and then inside the post we have this slug.js, and this is for our dynamic routes. Okay, so we already created this before. So I'll come to post card again, and now we can include the summary of our post right here. So first of all, I'll have a div, and for this div, I can give it a class name. So I'll say class name of details, and it will have two sections where we have the text info and we have the thumbnail. So right here, we will divide it into two. So we'll have another div. This will be for the text information, and then now down here, I'll also have another div. This will be for the thumbnail, and I can give class names to them so that we will style them later. So class name for this one will be info, and then I can give this one a class name, and class name for this one will be thumbnail. And let's start with info. So for info, let's have a h2, and we will display the post title. So I'll say title, and then after the title we can have a paragraph, and for the paragraph we can display the summary, just like that. And then another thing is that we can also show the date. So right here I can also have another p tag, and for this one I can give it a class name of date. Let me first rename this correctly, thumbnail. Let me save and then show you how we can access the date. So let me log it here again, console.log of post. I will save. I'll come back, and now you can see we are already listing two of them, this one and this one. And when you click on any of this one, it takes you to more details about it, and we'll be like creating this page on the next episode. For now, I want us to complete listing them. Now when I come here and explore this one, go to a single post, how you can find the date is that post.sys, and then inside the sys we have created art and then updated art. So we have these dates right here. So these are the ones that we need to access. So what I will do right here is that we need to make use of moment to format the date. So we can go ahead and install moment, and then run npm I moment, and then I'll hit enter. As that installs, we can import it right here. So I will import moment from moment, and I can use it to format the date. So I'll use curly brackets, and then I'll say moment, I'll invoke it, and I'll pass our date, which is in post.sys, and then dot created art, and then after that one I'll include dot from now and invoke that. So this is like a method provided by moment from now, and that will format our date correctly. And yeah, so I'll save that. Let's make sure that it's working. And now you can see 2 days ago. So I'll come back, and now we can include the thumbnail. So after this one, that is after the info, we can include the thumbnail. Actually, I included this at the wrong place, so I'll cut it and paste it here. So this is the point where we are supposed to include the thumbnail. So the thumbnail is optional. So what I will do, I'll make sure that it first exists, and then we display it if it exists. If it doesn't, we show null. So I'll say let's have the thumbnail. I'll use this ternary operator or a question mark. So if this returns true, then we will be able to show our thumbnail right here. Else, we will show nothing. So what we will do, we'll make use of the image, which is a component from Next. It helps with optimizing the image out of the box. So make sure you import it. And then now in here, actually it should be like a single component, a self-closing one, that is, and then we can include different properties for this one. So actually I'll hit enter and I can list them right here. So we should have the source to be equal to, now first of all, let's explore the source, how it looks like. So if you come to fields, then go to thumbnail, you'll see now that the thumbnail is more detailed. It has fields again, and then at fields it has the file, at file it has the URL, and you'll see the URL doesn't have the HTTP. So we should add the HTTP and then combine with the URL. So how we will handle that is that we will start with HTTPS and then full colon, and then after that we'll add our thumbnail dot fields and then dot file and then dot URL, and that will now include the correct link to the image. This image component also expects us to pass the width and the height of the image. So what I will do, first of all, I don't want to use a specific height or width of the image. I want it to be a bit responsive. So first of all, I'll include layout to be responsive. So this is necessary when using this image component, and you want to make it a bit responsive. You don't want to use exact height and width. And then I'll say object fit to be contain, and then right here I'll set the width now to be 100% and the height to be 100% as well. So now our image will be a bit responsive, and this is how we can add that image. But now this will still throw an error. So let me save and let's see what error we get. So you'll see host name, this one, is not configured under images in your Next config. So we must add some configuration and add the source of this image. So as you can see, the source of this image is from this particular URL. So we should add this at Next config. Okay, so I'll copy this and then I'll come to Next config right here, and we should add that image configuration right here so that it actually like accepts images from that domain name. So right here, this is how we can do it. We'll say images, and then I'll say full colon. Right here I'll say domains, and then I'll say full colon, and then include an array of URLs. You can include multiple. So what I'll include is this one. Okay, and then I'll go ahead and save. Now we should restart the server for it to identify this change. So I'll come back right here, stop the server. Actually, you can see right here, found a change in Next config, restart the server to see the changes. So I'll stop it using Control C, hit Y for yes, and then I'll run the server again. Now it's running, so it has successfully compiled, and we can be able to now load our data here and also the image here. So you can see the image the way it's big right here. So the good thing is that we are loading it, and we can now add styles using styled JSX. So now we have added the data, and all we need to do is to style using CSS. So I'll go ahead and style. Okay, so after the link here, I'll include the style tag, and I'll say JSX, and then we can include the curly brackets and backtick and include the styles in here. So first things first, we have postcard right here. We can go ahead and select it. So I'll say dot post hyphen card, and what we will have here is we can change the background, and I'll use these values RGBA 243, 244, and 246, and an opacity of 1. So that is like a bit grayish. And then I'll add padding of 9px and 20px. So that is top and bottom and left, right. And then I'll add margin for each card at the bottom of 30px, and let's cursor be pointer. And finally, I'll add a border radius to this one of 7px. Okay, now let's select the details. So the details is the one that is having the info and the thumbnail. So we should like use some flexbox there to position them nicely. So right here, I'll select details. I will add a display of flex, justify content of space between, and I'll align the items to the center. So that's it for details. Now let's select the info. So I want info to occupy more space. So what I'll do, I'll say dot info, and I'll flex the item by 2, so that will occupy more space than the image one. And I'll add a padding hyphen right of 7px, so that there is actually some space between the info and the thumbnail. So let's select the thumbnail now here. So I'll come here and select the thumbnail, and what I'll do right here, I'll just add a flex of 1, so that these actually make sense. Okay, so one last thing to style is the date. So I'll select the date, and let's give it this color. So I'll set the color to a hash b2 b1 b1 and b9, and we'll give it a font hyphen weight of bold. And now these are the styles, and let's see what we have done. I have saved, so I'll go back here, and there we go. The styles are working perfectly. Okay, and now see, we can be able to list our blog post. So we have the details here, the title, the summary, the date, the image on the side. Pretty nice, right? And when you click on this one, you get to more details about it. So that is it for this video. It's a bit long, and in the next video we'll go ahead and fetch the data for each post and we will also look at some other concept of generating the paths at build time. So I'll see you on the next episode, and if you like my content, please make sure you support my channel by subscribing and also leaving a like, and I'll see you on the next one.